Hey, Boyd Rollins here and welcome. I'm excited to have you here. The facts are that 97% of the people fail to make money online. This isn't just about online. It's also true of traditional network marketing and small business in general. Now, why is there such a high failure rate? And more importantly, how can you overcome this and become successful online? Let's start with why people fail, and then I'll go over how to overcome these challenges. To understand why people fail, let's look at how the online process works. Online success comes to four basic things: your mindset, driving traffic, converting that traffic into sales, and then duplication. We'll get into this in a lot more detail on some of our other trainings. The whole sales process, we have a training on that. Mindset, now this is critical. We get into a lot more depth on this in another training. But with any business, you're going to face challenges and setbacks. Your mindset will carry you through those tough times. Most successful people have failed a lot. It is their mindset that allowed them to finally succeed. We'll get into this in a lot more detail in our mindset training, so make sure you watch that. Now, traffic, that's the number two thing. This is where most people focus. But it's probably the least important factor of the four. We have a number of trainings on both free traffic methods and paid traffic methods, so make sure you watch some of those. Conversions. This is where a lot of people have problems. You can have all the traffic in the world, but if you don't convert them into customers, then you don't have a successful online business. Converting traffic into customers starts with your capture opt-in pages. Now, these pages offer great value in exchange for their name and email. Now, your autoresponder then takes that email and sends emails to these people daily to give extra value to them and eventually get them to buy from you. It really comes down to creating value for the customer in those emails. Now, top online marketers know the real money is in your list. This list of emails you collected from your capture pages. To succeed online, you must have high converting capture pages and emails in your autoresponders that get prospects to buy from you. This isn't as easy as you think. And the last step, duplication, means building a team that can do whatever you've done to be successful. So those are the four ingredients. Obviously, I've just skimmed the surface here, and we have a lot of other trainings that you go into more detail. Just go to our video blog. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of areas that you have to be an expert in. If you're just starting out, this could be a very daunting task. So how do you solve this? Well, first you need to focus on your mindset. That means having realistic expectations. This is a very competitive industry. It takes a lot of work to start any business, and this is not a get-rich scheme. So don't expect to make money your first week. It can happen, but don't expect it. Expectations will kill you. You also need to understand the reason you are starting your online business. If your why power desire is not great enough, or if your commitment isn't powerful enough, you're going to end up like every other person who starts a new diet or signs up for a new business opportunity only to quit on themselves and revert back to their unfulfilling patterns in their old life. So your solution, make sure you have a very strong reason for doing this. Make sure your why is through the roof. And watch the training on mindset. That'll give you a lot more insight into that. Now, second, there are too many things that you have to be an expert in. If you have any weak areas, that can doom your business, and your competition will see to that. You have to be good at everything. So what's the solution to that? Well, don't try to become an expert in everything. It won't work. When you're starting out, use a system that does most of the work for you. Now, for example, I use Big Idea Mastermind. They've got great capture pages that are the highest converting pages online. They provide you with autoresponder emails already written that convert your leads into buyers. So you don't have to do any capture pages. You don't have to do any emails for your autoresponder. They've already done that, and they work great. So that takes a big load off your plate. They provide a lot of training to drive traffic to your capture pages, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And they have products starting at $25, so it's affordable for everyone. So this way you only have to focus on two things: your mindset and driving traffic to your pre-made capture pages. Now, that's a manageable thing that you can do. Now, let's talk about the last obstacle to avoid failure online, and that's understanding the online economics. Most of the people making money online are spending money to advertise. Like most things in life, money makes a big difference. If you don't have money to advertise, you can still be successful. There are many examples of successful online marketers who start with no money, but almost all of them get most of their profits from advertising, even though they didn't start out that way. They just started small, use the free methods that are out there, they start making money, and then they start putting that money into advertising. Now here are the facts about advertising. Even the top marketers find that only 20% of their ads get killer results. So how do they make $20,000 a month? Or $50,000, or even $80,000 a month? There are people making $200,000 a month. So how do they do that if only 20% of their ads are working? Well, first, they test everything. When they find that an ad gets killer results, they start putting money behind it, gradually ramping up on advertising on that ad. These good ads yield around $3 for every dollar they spend. So if they spend $300 for that ad, they get back $900. Then they turn around and put that $900 back into that same ad, and they'll get back $2,700. And they're eventually spending $25,000 a month for advertising and getting back $75,000. Not a bad business. But most of those ads didn't work. But they didn't spend a lot of money on them. They tested them on a small scale, they found the killer ads, and then they spent the money on the ads. And then they just kept ramping it up. That's how to make money online. Now the other part of this equation is that you have to have a product that pays great commissions. For example, let's say you're in an ad for $300 and you're looking to get $900 back. You've already done your testing, you know the ad works. But if you're only making a $15 commission per sale, you need 60 sales to get that $900 back. But if you use Big Idea Mastermind like I do, with an average lifetime value of a customer at $600, then you need to make 1.5 sales. So here's why people fail though. They don't understand this concept. They'll run a few ads, but the sales don't cover their costs. So they say it doesn't work. They didn't run small tests, not knowing that only 20% of ads from top marketers work great. Now obviously ads from a newbie were going to be less successful than that. So make sure you run small tests on ads before you spend much on these ads. They also don't know the lifetime value of a customer. For example, my Big Idea Mastermind business, if after testing ads, I spend $300 on a killer ad I tested, and let's say I had 2 signups at $25 each. Now a lot of people would say that ad didn't work and stop running it. The ad cost $300, I got back $50. Now in reality, those 2 signups will bring in $1,200 over the next couple months. The ad will end up making a 400% return on my ad costs. Got $1,200, spent $300, that's a 400% return. With any business, you need to know your return on investment, your ROI, so that if you invest $300 in ad, you need to know if that ad is working or not. Most people would give up on that ad, thinking the ad didn't work, but I'll keep running that ad and making a fortune. Understanding this concept will allow you to avoid the 97% failure rate. Because in that example, most people would stop and say it doesn't work. They'd give up. And yet in reality, they had an ad that was killing it. They just didn't understand the economics. Now let me explain a little more on the lifetime value of a customer. This is how much commissions you average on one basic sign-up. This is calculating by taking the total income made divided by the number of sign-ups. You should have a 4 to 6 month history to make that calculation. I'll use my Big Idea Mastermind as an example. The entry-level product is $25, but the average lifetime value of a customer is $600. How can that be? First, they pay 100% commissions, so that helps. And some of these people that spend the $25, they're going to stop, and they're not going to pay anymore. They're just going to quit. They're going to give up. But others will buy everything, and you'll earn $4,600 from them. Understanding the numbers are critical. This is the number one reason why people fail online. Now, if you don't have any money to advertise, there are a number of ways to drive free traffic to your business. But once you start making money, you'll want to start advertising. Take that money that you made from the free traffic things you did and put that money back in advertising so that you can start ramping this business up. So here's the bottom line. Let's recap all this. Don't try to do everything. You want to get good at one traffic method until you're an expert, then get good at another method. And you want to use a done-for-you system to do most of the work for you, like Big Idea Mastermind. And related to that, if you are not using a done-for-you system, there are so many areas that not only do you have to be an expert in, but if you're new, you're trying to figure out what isn't working, what is working, and there are too many variables. So you can't focus in on what's working or what's not working to tweak it, because that's the key in this business. You have to be able to keep changing things, testing, and tweaking. And if you have a done-for-you system, then you zero it in. You're running some ads. You're testing them on a small basis. You're seeing, does this ad work? Now, there are a couple areas that we'll get into that in other trainings, but there are only a few factors there. You've got your headline, you've got the body, you've got your picture of the ad if you're running those kind of ads, and then you've got the capture page. But the capture page has already been tested, so you know that works. So you've just got 3 things you're focused in on, and you're going to find what works and what doesn't. If you're trying to figure out capture pages and emails that are going out, you don't know which is working and which isn't working. It's just too hard. So you need a done-for-you system if you're starting. Now, understanding your numbers are critical too. When you know your average lifetime value of a customer, you can then know whether your ad is profitable. So you can scale up advertising when an ad is making money. In the example I gave above, a lot of people would have said on that ad that it's not working and they'd give up. When in reality, it was a killer ad. It was making 400% return on my money, and I'm going to make a lot of money keep running that ad. So you need to understand that whole lifetime value of a customer. And lastly, you need to make sure that you have a very strong reason for doing this business. Make sure your why is through the roof. This will allow you to overcome the challenges that everyone faces when starting a business. So watch some of the other training videos that we have on our video blog so you can get more online success. And make sure to watch the motivational videos. And make sure to watch motivational videos for 30 minutes a day to keep a strong, positive mindset. We have a number of those on our video blog as well. So this is Boyd Rollins here. Take care.